Ken Meyer, a.k.a. Flounder, if you look at his photo, he does little snippets for Mediaite. All the writers there do little snippets. Basically, Mediaite is a site that hawks mostly cable TV, puts clips up, and then puts a liberal twist on them. Not all of them, but most of them, the overwhelming number of them do. Get Trump, anybody who supports Trump is an idiot, stuff like that. You can check it out. So there's this CNN legal analyst by the name of Renato Mariotti. Renato Mariotti. And he was on Twitter. Mediaite tells us, Flounder reports. And we're supposed to be very, very impressed because, you see, CNN's legal analyst, Renato Mariotti, he knows everything, and he's telling us what to worry about. Today, the Wall Street Journal reported that Trump Organization CFO Alan Weisselberg received immunity from federal prosecutors who investigated Michael Cohen. He says, off the bat, this tells us that Weisselberg had criminal liability. People who don't have criminal exposure don't need immunity. Now, that doesn't mean he had criminal liability. This guy's a legal analyst. It means he could have been threatened with criminal liability. He hasn't been found to have committed any crimes. He got immunity. Let's continue. People who don't have criminal exposure don't need immunity. No, people who are threatened by prosecutors do need immunity. According to the Wall Street Journal, Weisselberg received immunity and testified before the Manhattan grand jury earlier this year. The decision about when to give a witness immunity versus forcing them to plead guilty and get a deal to flip is a complicated one. If prosecutors didn't have enough evidence to charge Weisselberg and couldn't make their case without him, immunity was their only option. No, that wasn't their only option. Dropping the matter was another option. So at least he confesses it must have been very, very weak because they gave him immunity. They didn't force him to plead to some crimes. There can be no question that Weisselberg provided valuable testimony to prosecutors. Well, there's no doubt about that. Apparently they got him to sing, and dance and do whatever they needed him to do. Prosecutors don't give immunity blindly. They would have required Weisselberg's attorney to tell them what Weisselberg would say if he testified before they gave him immunity. Prosecutors wouldn't have given him immunity if the information provided by Weisselberg was not valuable, or if the information provided by Weisselberg was useful to the prosecution, not necessarily criminal. I want to continue with this because over at Mediaite, they think this is fantastic, and this guy really is a typical dummy. I'll be right back.